House advances air permitting bill tied to national security. The House Energy and Commerce Committee has advanced the Air Permitting Improvements to Protect National Security Act of 2025, moving the legislation one step closer to a full House vote after a closely divided committee markup. On January 21st, the bill was ordered to be reported by a 25 to 23 vote, underscoring the narrow margin and ongoing debate around how environmental permitting should intersect with national security and industrial policy. The legislation would amend the Clean Air Act to create new flexibility for certain industrial facilities tied to advanced manufacturing and critical mineral supply chains. Specifically, it would authorize the president to waive, in whole or in part, air emissions offset requirements for qualifying facilities if doing so is determined to be in the national security interests of the United States. That authority could only be exercised upon application by a facility owner or operator and could not be delegated. In addition to the presidential waiver provision, the bill would allow state permitting authorities to approve alternative or innovative approaches to emissions offsets when traditional offsets are unavailable. These alternatives could include state-imposed mitigation measures or emissions fees, capped at no more than 1.5x the average cost of stationary source control measures adopted in the area over the previous 3 years. The bill directs states to use any collected fees in a way that maximizes emissions reductions locally. The scope of the proposal is limited to facilities defined as strategically significant. Advanced manufacturing facilities are defined as those primarily engaged in semiconductor manufacturing or semiconductor equipment production, while critical mineral facilities include operations focused on the extraction, processing, refining, or milling of minerals designated as critical by the Department of the Interior. Supporters of the bill argue that it addresses a practical constraint facing domestic manufacturing expansion, particularly in regions where offset markets are limited or saturated. In those areas, obtaining sufficient offsets can extend permitting timelines and introduce uncertainty for projects viewed as essential to supply chain resilience and national security objectives. From this perspective, the legislation is framed as a targeted adjustment rather than a broad rollback of environmental protections. Opponents have raised concerns that the bill could weaken Clean Air Act safeguards by allowing emissions increases without traditional offsets, especially in non-attainment areas already facing air quality challenges. The close committee vote reflects those concerns and suggests the measure may face continued resistance as it moves through the legislative process. While the bill does not change underlying air quality standards, it signals a growing willingness among some lawmakers to weigh national security considerations more explicitly within environmental permitting frameworks. Whether that approach gains broader support remains uncertain, but the committee action places the issue firmly on the 2026 policy agenda and highlights the tension between permitting rigor and industrial acceleration. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.